G'day, guys. Welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Graham Solomon, and we are here today with a special guest. Before I introduce him, I want you to go hit the like button, hit the heart button, give him plenty of love, and go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Down Under YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so that you can become part of the family, so that you're intimate with special guests like we've got now. Hit the bell so that you get notified when the countdown starts. Bang, you'll get a notification, and then you're live right with us now. Now, this guest has been in before. I've had to track him down. He needs no introduction. He has been in the business for 7-8 years, nearly a decade, wholesaling, investing. He's actually a really good educator. I've followed him all the way along, and he's a great educator. He's just an expert on data and drilling down on all that sort of stuff. He loves stats. He's a self-confessed analyst and geek.
Just say a nerd. Just say a nerd.
A nerd, and he also does coaching, and he's got a Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses Future Alliance. His name is the one and only CC Garland. Welcome, CC. It's great to have you back in the Thunderdome, mate.
Yes, Graham. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be back.
I've had to track you down. I usually watch you on Facebook. You're generally cutting up a dance floor somewhere. You're out. You like a good time.
I do.
We've talked about Dancing with the Stars because you've now got a presence on reality TV. We talked about that last time you're in. So you've been busy, but I had to track you down. I had to find out where you were. What's been happening lately? Where have you been?
Yeah, Graham. Great question. And, this actually is perfect to sort of talk about now because, guys, I'm 7 years in, like Graham said, this business. And there's always going to be a deal. There's always going to be a seller that needs to sell their house. There's always going to be a student that needs to be coached. And, thankfully, I have some really good friends. They sat me aside in February. They were like, CC, look at all you've done. Guys, I don't like running victory laps. I always think there's something else to be done or accomplished, right? So with that being said, guys, they sat me down. They were like, hey, just refocus and sort of recenter yourself. Just a man-to-man talk. And I ended up going on a trip to Savannah, Georgia. This was like early March. And it was going to be a weekend trip. I ended up going down to Florida and then going back to North Carolina to Charlotte and turned into like a 2-3 week trip. And, I was bouncing back and forth between Burlington and Charlotte now. And, just really just re-energizing myself, finding my focus, really establishing my purpose. And also, guys, I like taking time to work with a small group of people or even look at my own data and stats and reflect. If we're always going, we never take time to stop and figure out if we're actually going 100 miles per hour in the right direction. So I like taking time, but I think this was the first time in my career I truly unplugged. Guys, I let my email stack up. Since I had this email account in my Gmail since 2006, I've just let my email stack up. But, I was just really needing to re-energize. But yeah, that's where I am right now. But I'm back, ready to crush it.
So you've had a break. And, this is what usually happens with guys that play on your level, that go hard. You've gone hard for 7 years straight. You needed a break. Luckily, you got some good mates around you that said, listen, CC, you need to just take a break, mate. You're just going too hard. You're probably going to burn out. So you've taken a break. Did you have any reflection or did you have any epiphanies or clarity while you're away? Is there any anything you'll change in the next 7 years in the biz?
Yeah. So Graham, I don't want to go too deep, but it ended up being like a workcation thing, but it actually became a personal development type trip, and it turned out I really needed that. Just I found some things that I was dealing with in my personal life, nothing major, but anxiety, stress, not having a good work-life balance. Those were affecting my business, right? I can't be 100%. I can't be motivated. I can't be confident. My team can't have confidence in me if I'm showing up not broken, but not all the way there and engaged, or even having a solid vision. So I guess to answer your question, Graham, what I really got out of all this was just focus and focusing on the people I like working with, because not everybody I'm going to like working with. Focusing on the sellers I like working with. More importantly, rehabs and rentals, the properties I like working with. right? So my strategy is going more towards Airbnbs, those little cottage, 2-3 bedroom homes built in the 1950s, 60s. I love those. And instead of trying to figure out what I wanted to do or what other sort of like helping other people reach their dreams, I finally am going back and being like, hey, CC, what do you want? So being a little selfish just for a minute. So I apologize if you guys were messaging me on Facebook, but I need to take that time off, but I'm back now and ready to crush it, guys. I'm ready to crush it.
So you sort of stripped it back, and I noticed, like following you for a while, being in your Facebook group, you like to, if things get a bit out of control, you like to pull them back, don't you? You don't like doing the big crowd thing. You like having sort of more intimate relationships with your followers and with your students and with all that sort of stuff. So is that what's come out of it? You've sort of gone, look, maybe I was just expanding too much. I just need to pull it back a bit, and I want to get more one-on-one with people and get down to where the passion, like when you started off, when you were broke and you just were passionate and you just networked with people and you just worked on, you grinded. Is that sort of what you're saying? You want to get back to the grassroots?
Yeah. Yeah, Graham,
Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head. And that's one thing my friends told me. They said, hey, you don't, basically I was giving my attention to everybody, right? So I was giving my parents the same attention I would give to a stranger that just hit me up about real estate. I was
Yep.
giving my friends the same attention, I would give a homeless person on the street. Not saying that's wrong, but there's only so much of me, right? And so as a result of that, I've really zoned in on who I like working with, the people I can help, and also it just solidified the fact that I love connection. I love delivering aha moments to people. I love that light bulb going off or making somebody ponder, almost like you said something profound for the first time in their life. They heard something. So that's really what gets me going, Graham. That gets me going. And really, I think that was, you hit the nail on the head, just, stepping back and reflecting and really zoning in on, hey, CC, this one-on-one thing is not going to change. So just go with that, right? So I work with a small group of people. I may duck off for 3 or 4 months and then come back and deliver some content. I usually have good insights after that as well, after working with a group of people. And that's what makes my process and my systems better and better, because I'm always studying and iterating. It's never static. The person that signed up today will get not way better system, but a better system than signed up yesterday, right? And even with all the content I put out, I'm constantly trying to be ahead of the curve, right? And reflecting allows me to do that, right?
So I guess you just had to get that fire back, didn't you? You had to get that eye of the tiger back in
Yeah.
a sense. You had to get that. Like I said, when you were young and hungry and you were starting off. So that break's been able to get that back, which is really good, because I know how intense you are when it comes to providing value to people. So if you're not running at 100%, you be hard on yourself, and
Yeah.
like you said, you start putting pressure on yourself. So that's awesome. You had a break, mate. Now, what's does that mean that, like, you're still going to do all the same things? Like, you one of your specialties is data and drilling down on lists and getting to sellers that other people can't get to, all that sort of stuff. You're big on systems. Do you want to give us an overview of if anything's changed, or how it's going to be a little bit different if it's a more intimate setting? How are you going to structure it differently
Yeah.
than before? And is anything changing, or is it going to be the same CC?
Yep.
Well, new improved 2.0 CC, just giving people more attention. Is that sort of what you're saying?
Yeah, Graham, you're exactly right. And I think another insight I had with working with it was seven really awesome investors, and we're still working together right now. But I was trying to record modules, right, about my content, but there's no way I can take myself out of teaching it. So I teach this thing like class. We're going back to high school, college, guys. We get on a call an hour a day, and we have that small intimate setting. And I'm going through my whole business, the process step by step. And one thing I always tell investors, and some people get a little offended when I say this, is that your business isn't unique, but that should make you feel good, because I'm pretty sure the guy down the road doesn't think his gas station's unique, but it's making him a lot of money, right? So we need to take the personal feelings out of it, and I'm good at that because I look at businesses like a system, like a structure. all the way down to my employees, right? I have a personality profile I'm looking for each position I have in my company. And also too, Graham, another thing that I've realized is that I don't have to have a huge operation to make 6 figures a month wholesaling. I don't. And I'm always trying to make things more lean and get one employee to be able to do the job of 3, 4, 5, or 6 employees.
Yep. So really work on procedures, systems, all that sort of stuff to be more efficient and more productive. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, do you want to just tell us what you've been working on? I saw you live yesterday, and you mentioned that you're going to do more intimate groups, like you're going to do groups of say 10 people rather than 20, 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
What can people expect? Like what sort of content will they be learning? What sort of systems? Do you want to just give us an overview of what what you'll be sort of teaching? And I guess the question will be, although they're getting 2.0 version of you, but what can you say that's going to be different than say some guy down the road's teaching? Like your point of difference.
Yeah. So I don't want to sound pretentious, Graham, but I'll know all the answers. I've done the work. It's like I'll know all the answers.
Yeah.
And it'll be the right answer to get you to where you want to go. I mean, point blank simple. So the next thing, though, state that one more time, Graham, because there was so much.
Sorry. Just like just run us through because I know you're very big on like systems. So you'll start with marketing, you'll carve that up, you'll get the best. You'll probably get the best system you can for marketing. You'll do it a little bit different. Like with your data, you'll find some gaps and anomalies that other people don't see, and that's what I like about you, CC, is you find stuff and see stuff that other people, because you drill down so deep. So I just guess I was like if we start from marketing, go through your procedures, how do you sort of run? Like Graham comes in and says, right, CC, I want to be number 10. I'm sliding in at number 10. What can I expect from what can I expect from working intimately with you? What sort of stuff will I learn from marketing all the way through?
Yep, let's go into it. So, Graham, my program is designed to fit a particular or address a particular problem in investors' companies. And rehabbers deal with this, wholesalers, Airbnb, it doesn't matter. We all need to do marketing. We all need to have acquisitions or something like that, a lead manager, something like that. When you get to the actual point where you're acquiring the deal and you're figuring out what to do with it, you guys know what to do with that, right? I feel like a lot of these programs double down on the same things, guys, over and over and over again. Like I had a call with a guy yesterday. He couldn't join the program because he spent 40 grand in programs that didn't work, guys. And I'm tired of being quiet about this, right? Because I've watched this for too long, and people don't feel supported, right? So you won't see me scaling up to like 100 people and putting you in a Facebook group. No, can't do that. For me right now, guys, I'm focused on providing value and making sure I'm right there, like jogging with you on that marathon, and I'm like your coach. I'm helping you. Hey, step one, do this. Guys, from day one, if you were to come in, Graham, or anybody were to come in, you'll get a welcome email from my assistant, Jay. All right. That email has 2 personality tests in it, right? Clifton Strength Finders is one, and 16 personalities is another one. Guys, I use that to bring up, to adjust my teaching style to you all. That's why I have 10 people in a group, right? So this is what I've really added, Graham. It's more of like a psychology thing. And honestly, guys, when I get that profile, I've had to politely tell some people, hey, you're not a good fit because I'm seeing some things here. Guys, not everybody's meant to be a business owner. This is something we have to understand. I think, people out here, they don't want to be real because they want your money. Guys, I'll tell you what's up. Yeah. So, Graham, you got any comments on that? I could then go into the.
No, that will comment on that. There's a few people. I'm not sure if you know Zach and Rick Ginn. They've got a channel as well. They're right onto this as well. They're just saying, look, there's too many people doing the wrong thing. There's people doing the right thing, but it needs to be clamped down on, and people need to do their own due diligence to ask the questions that I'm asking you to find out, well, you're the real deal. You're not. You're just going to put me in a group of 100 people and just regurgitate stuff. So it's up to the individual now to reach out, like to someone like you and say, all right, what do I get? Are you going to be there? Are you going to support me? Are you going to show me stuff that's more cutting edge than someone else,
Yeah.
rather than stuff from 3 years ago? Is it
Yeah.
relevant? And I guess that's probably why you had a break. You wanted to reinvent yourself, and you wanted to get back to that grassroots type stuff. So, yeah, no, that's all. There's a lot of people now starting to clue on to that, and there's a lot of people in your position in the industry that's saying enough's enough. So I respect it. I respect it, CC, that the fact that you want, like in this group of there's 10 people, you want those people to succeed and to be
Yes.
in the
Yes.
business long term. So
Yes.
there are people in the industry that are really committed to that. So it seems like a bit of a new movement. And
Yeah.
I don't want to criticize anyone out there doing anything else, but it's up to the individual, like someone like myself or someone watching, to do your due diligence and to get the right person to take you, like you said, to run the marathon with you and to get in the trenches with you. So
Yeah. Can I for a moment, Graham, on what you were saying? So I also do think it's the responsibility of the coach. It's the responsibility of the sales floor. A lot of these guys, no problem with that. And I'm looking at outsourcing my sales floor, but we're going to be doing that ethically. If somebody is new and they're a newbie, guys, they shouldn't be buying a $10,000 course or $5,000 program, guys. Give them, something basic, because they may not even know that this career field is a good fit for them. So they may end up with 20, 30, 40 grand in debt, not even really passionate about real estate, but have to make it work. Guys, I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing that, guys. No.
Yeah. Some great points there, CC, because if you knew, and I've experienced this, like coming into another culture, another different market than what I'm used to, it takes you a while to you can get all this information, but it takes you a while to be able to process it and use it. Now, if you've spent 40K and you've done all this stuff and you get spat out the side, you can, a lot of that information wouldn't be absorbed. So you need someone that actually lives and breathes that to be there with you and to talk you through it and implement stage by stage, don't you? So that's pretty much what you're talking about. And that's where I agree with you, with a more intimate setting and a more one-on-one type program where you actually get access to the person that's got the experience.
They get my cell phone. I'm texting my people at midnight, 1 o'clock when I'm at the bar. Dancing. Seriously, I'm shooting them voice memos, guys. I work with people. It's deeper than just a transaction. Like, I can't stand when I'm looked at like a transaction, right? That's a big reason why I moved from Charleston. Starting to feel like that. A lot of places I went to. So people don't like feeling like that, right? So it's only thing I ask is just people have an open mind and trust the process. One thing that really bothers me is once people come in and then they start, they're like skeptical. Once I tell them, hey, it's going to take a month for us to lay the foundation, and then you're going to start getting some movement, some leads and everything. But we do things in order for a reason. That's the only thing that I would say really bothers me. But other than that, students are great to work with. And I found that it's a lot better than just throwing people in a group coaching call and hopping on a call once a week.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you've had a fair few students go through. Do you feel that the more intimate the group is, the more people like take in the information and learn quicker? Is that something that you've observed?
Yeah, Graham, you know what? Okay, so this is interesting. So last year I did sort of a 16-week program. It was called my Full Focus program. And that was more focused on marketing versus what I'm doing now. It's actually business building. And that was my first time doing a group coaching setting, but it was so small where it felt like it was one-on-one. Oh, actually, it was one-on-one because I burned myself out. I was doing one-on-ones, unlimited. So 12 people in the program, they could book me at any time to talk. I got pretty burnt out with that. But with that being said, with the program, having 12 people, 10, 12 people, and then offering them maybe one-on-one sessions and ensuring, hey, you're not getting left behind, right? My assistant, Jay, she's always hitting up my students. And I make sure if you're going to go out of the program, it's because I'm putting the pressure on you, right? I hold you accountable, right? And we don't move to the next step until everybody in that group understands the hiring process, the market research process, or whatever I'm teaching for that week.
Yeah. I mean, use the analogy here, CC. Like if you're coaching a basketball team or a football team, you can't not go to training and just say to the guys, look, go and train during the week by yourself. I'll get there
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes before the game and I'll just tell you, I'll go rah, rah, rah. And then you're going to go out and you're going to dominate. It just doesn't work like that, does it? If you're a coach, you have to be invested in your players or in this case, your students. And that's the biggest gap that I've seen. And I think you're now in a movement with a lot of other people that are saying, well, I'm not going to coach or mentor or educate unless I can give, unless it's ethically sits well with me and
Mm-hmm.
it's my values line up. I'm not going to do it. I might as well just go out and do something else. So, do you feel there's a bit of a movement? People are starting to say, right, yeah, this doesn't sit with me anymore. I bought it a while ago, but nah, I'm going to change it. I'm a leader and I need to take responsibility. Do you think that's starting to happen a little bit more now?
Yeah, I think people are waking up to the reality, Graham. And once you go, it's almost like you see the same messaging copy and pasted over and over again. Well, I've been working with my marketing team since February, and we may not even launch my ads, which will be the first time I'm ever doing organic or paid ads. All my audience has been organic, so I appreciate you guys. But even with that being said, I do not like the fact that people just felt like they were not supported, right? And I don't think you can scale support.
Yeah.
Now you can, but you have to bring people on. And I just think a lot of people are getting maybe spooked too with some of the stuff that's been happening with a lot of these big time real estate educators. So I think that also has factored into it. You sell $40,000-$50,000 courses, then you're pimping them out to a coach that's done 2 deals. Guys, that's not going to bode well. So I've always been like this, guys. I've always worked with people intimately, connected with them, because I'm learning in the process too. I'm a student of the game, guys. I'm always learning. Because how can I innovate if I'm not plugged in, right? How can I be 2 steps ahead if I'm not actually in the trenches with my teams?
Yeah. And I mean, you've always, in your Facebook group, never held back with the content, have you? I mean, some of my favorite videos I've watched are your ones. I mean, I always bang on about it when I talk to you about the picking up auction buyers from Zillow, from the realtor, just gold. So you're not scared to play full on and share everything with everyone. So a lot of
Yeah.
people hold that back and they on sell and all that. But I mean, you even do that as free content. So I could only imagine that if you're working with an intimate group, you're going to give them, especially the 2.0 version now. You've had a rest. You've sort of discovered your why a bit more now.
Yes.
You're up and about, and now you're saying, right, I'm going to give you everything because I can give you more because there's less people and I can really focus on you. So, that's something that you've always been good at. And like I said at the start, we called you a nerd, but you drill down on stuff. People that work with you actually, and I've seen it, understand what your skill set is, your superpower of drilling down into data and seeing stuff that other people don't see. So they will hang around with you and they'll learn that skill, won't they? They'll learn how to, because we've all pulled lists off PropStream that I reckon 100,000 other people are pulling. You're saying, well, you need to get to ones that other people aren't pulling. You need to do this, try this, look at this data. And I think, there's not too many people around that can really analyze the data, and you're one of them. So, firstly, people will learn that. You've always been a good marketer. You've always hit it hard with the marketing. That's been another thing that you've hit hard. So, when you got ahead of the game with text blasting, then when it got saturated, you got back into cold calling. Then everyone got into cold. So you're always. I mean, you've even got your little. Is it your golden list on your direct mail? I mean, I remember that one. That was a gold nugget there. So people that are going to work with you are going to get this more intimately now, aren't they? So this is what you're going to run people through. So I just want to ask top 5 things. What do you reckon the top 5 takeaways will be for anyone that comes in and works with you?
Yeah. Top 5 guys, hiring. By the end of my program, you will have a fully trained lead manager and operations manager. I do the training myself, right? I'm going through a class right now of 3 lead managers, and I do that myself. And after that, I'm monitoring and managing their calls. So it's a little bit of done with you, but I'm teaching you how to fish. I teach my men and women that come on board with me how to fish. One thing I was doing before, Graham, was I was setting up these systems and stuff, and I would get people deals, but after the 2-3 months were over, they wouldn't even know what to do. And so like they fired the VAs. It hurt so bad. Some of the VAs I spent 3 months training, and they would just get rid of them, and so yeah, they paid me, but man, dude, my value is like seeing somebody have a legitimate company by the end of it. So that'll be the first one, guys. I guess 2-in-1: operations manager, lead manager, fully trained. And here's the thing, guys, a lot of people don't know what these positions entail. So a lot of people have a lead manager doing acquisitions, guys, and then you may have redundancies in your company. Guys, I have like 2 team members right now, full time, crushing it. We're doing like 5 to 10 deals a month. And some of that's JV, some of those are ones I take down myself. But you don't need a huge team to be a power force in your industry or in your market. So that's going to be the first one, guys. The second thing, Graham, is going to be this. You're going to have a clear vision of what your 4-month, 3, 4, 5-month marketing campaign will be. So whenever your list stops performing, you're not like going around like, oh my gosh, what list do I pull? You're stopping, you're pausing everything, or heaven forbid, you're dialing a list that's just not performing, just to dial. So I teach you guys when you need to pull your next list, some warning signs to look for, your benchmarks you should be aiming for on a daily basis with your cold callers, and more importantly, guys, that 3-month campaign, right? 3-4 month campaign, you're going to have clarity. And you're going to know, okay, month 2, this is the list I'm going to pull. Month 1, this is the list I'm going to pull. And these are the best zip codes I'm going to pull. So it's a little bit tedious to start, guys, because we spend about a week on the market research part. You really need to internalize that. But the good thing is, once we do that, it really fills in the gaps. I'm telling you, it's an aha moment. And then you start reflecting on the deals you've done, and you look at the data, and you're like, that's why all my deals are coming from 29485, or 29483. So it gives you clarity on like why things are working, right? My business was successful for so long, but I didn't know why, and then when things stop performing, guess what? See, we need,
and that's a real art form to learn. That's what I was saying before. It's second nature to you, but most people struggle with that, and they just pull generic lists because they just don't know how to analyze the data. They don't know how to get down in, right into the cracks. And hanging out with you, they're going to learn that skill, and that's a skill that will take them years into the future, and their business will flourish because of that skill. Because a lot of people
have a competitive edge too, Graham.
Yeah, competitive edge.
The prop stream list. I didn't mean to interrupt, but everybody's built, doing those prop stream lists. I show you guys how to get to records and owners that nobody else is targeting, guys. I'll just drop something out here. You shouldn't be using equity filters. And if somebody says, well, what's the motivation on the list? That's the thing. That's why I teach you, right? How to get the most bang for your buck without going after these conventional lists while still having solid, motivated sellers on it.
Yeah, I'll let you keep going, but I'm going to come back with a story, which I haven't. It was about a list that I got you to do. I'm going to tell you a little story, which is a positive story. It's not a bad one. You keep going with your 5, and then I'll drop in with me real life story.
So number 3, I guess this is more of like during the training, guys, you're going to learn how to hire. And this is why I keep the group small, because I actually hop on every interview, right? I can't, if it's like 20 people, 30, 40 people, I can't hop on all the interviews. So I give my students like 1 to 2 day training on how to interview, how to, what questions to ask, how to conduct themselves on it, and how to actually evaluate good talent, right? Just because somebody could talk on the phone and breathe doesn't mean they need to be a cold caller or lead manager. Just because somebody was a cold caller doesn't mean they'll make a good lead manager. Those are 2 completely different positions. It pretty much just stops with them talking on the phone. Completely different positions, guys.
Yeah.
So it's all about, that was the third point. My mind's going everywhere, Graham. So much to cover.
Yeah. I'll just jump in with that story. I reckon it was over a year ago. I contacted you, so I said, I want you to pull me, because I knew how you could drill down, and that was a weakness of mine. So I said, I want a list. You pulled a list, and I think at the time you had trained some cold callers, and you had a system in place where, they did the cold calling, and they'd give you leads on a platter, send you an email, all the information. It was all done. Now, what happened was I went and did a social media course, and I got towards the end of the time, I had a seat and I had a caller, and I got towards the end, and I think about 6 or 8 leads come in at the end, and I already started doing this thing, and I was up in the middle of the night every night doing Zoom calls and coaching. So those 8 leads just sort of got pushed aside. I thought, I'll get to them, right? A month went by. I thought, I've got to get back to them leads, because they're good leads. They've been pre-screened from the system you have in place. 2 months went by. Ends up about 6 months goes by, and I knew a guy. I know a guy in the Philippines that trains cold callers. He's an American guy, and he's there, and he's a gun guy. I said, mate, can you just check up on these leads? And it got to 6 months later, or 5 months later. You wouldn't believe it. This is how accurate your data is. Every one of those people had just sold in the last month or two. So if I had to pursue those in a pipeline, I would have done 6 to 8 deals. They all. So you somehow knew exactly where to drill down to find people that would be motivated, that no one else had hit, because I'd actually put some properties under contract initially, and the guy hadn't been called by anyone. I'm thinking, how does CDC do this? Like, it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I mean, that's a pretty hot market. So my point to all this is, if you can learn this skill that CC is it's his superpower, and you can hang out with CC, you can learn this skill, you can actually have deals that, because you've quite often said, CC, that sometimes it takes 2, 3, or 4 months to get it to a contract. And that's something that you'll teach people as well. Don't try and close someone on the first call, unless you're an absolute gun. But even then, sometimes people aren't ready to sell. And if you've got the right data, you've got a pipeline of 20, 30 leads, and you probably close 5 or more deals out of this. So I just wanted to tell that story because I really do believe that you're one of the best data guys around, and that the proof is in the pudding. I couldn't believe it. I go, oh my God! When I tell CC this is going to kill me, you got to close 6 deals. I got to test
just go sit on the data. And Graham, honestly, it might have been somebody I coached that bottom. So hey, it's all.
Yeah, well, hopefully, but because what I did notice is you used a lot, because you actually sent me the thing with the filters that you use, and I went, wow, I would never have thought of that. And I just thought of all the hundreds of prop stream lists that I pulled without these filters. I thought, wow, it makes a big difference. There you go. So, that I just wanted to share that. Yeah. I hadn't told you that before, but
Graham, that's great, though.
Yeah, that's a real life story. So another point of that for anyone that's listening, anyone that's watching, is follow-up is so important. And CC always bangs on about follow-up. He says most of his deals he gets is 4 months down the track. You've got to create a pipeline. So I just thought I'd chuck that in, because too many, especially newer wholesales, get to about 2 weeks, 14-day follow-up, and then they just scrap it and say, oh, no, well, I can't be bothered. I'll go and I'll buy another list. So there you go.
And so I'll make a point on that, Graham. So what I teach people is to get I call it stacking the pipeline, right? So it's not going to be, you're going to come in and it's going to be 3 months, 4 months before you even see a motivated seller lead and get a contract. That's not what we do over here. So I have my system tweaked enough where we're getting deals, we're getting leads today, right? So within the next 30 days, we should have at least 1 or 2 solid leads that should be workable, right? It's going to be hot, something to work with. Like a client of mine, we started his campaign the 5th of May, right? And so he, yesterday or 2 days ago, I went out, since I'm in Charlotte, I checked out the house for him. Guys, this is what I do. I'm just down to earth, right? Like what other coach will go out and just check out the house because he's in Savannah? Guys, I mean, let's just build each other up. That's what I'm all about. I want to teach these processes to people so I can talk to you guys on the same level, right? I want to bring people up and teach these things because it's very important. And guys, we need to recession-proof our businesses. I don't like fear-mongering, guys, but if you're just text blasting here, cold calling there, not fully getting the most juice out of the squeeze, out of your list, you're gonna have some trouble. Maybe not now, maybe not in the summer. You're gonna have some trouble, maybe in about 12 months. I'm being honest, right? We can't just sit here and duct tape things together anymore. We have to have clarity and focus. And I've been through all this, guys. Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I went through the struggle, guys. Some of the things I've gone through just to learn this stuff, because I was trying to get these answers to these questions. How many cold calls do I need to get a deal or to get a lead? What KPIs should I even be monitoring? What is my lead manager supposed to be doing? Everybody wants to hire an acquisitions manager off the bat. And AM doesn't want to call cold leads, guys. You need a lead manager. See, you guys have, a lot of people have the process, not the processes, they have the knowledge, but I'm here to show you how to connect those dots.
Yeah.
Right? And so we keep what's good and we scrap what's bad. I set everybody out with a foundation. And once you guys understand that foundation, then you can get fancy. That's why I like saying, let's set the foundation before we get fancy. It reminds me of a lot of people that do direct mail, and they're like trying to tweak their messaging or put some cute stickers or, stuff on the envelope, and they're sending out 10 direct mail pieces. Let's focus on the principles first. And that's why I focus on the principles. I teach my process as if it's a franchise, because that's what this is. Think about home investors. All these other people, why do they succeed? Because they have a system that other people can implement. So basically, guys, I'm just teaching a franchise model that actually works better than those other things, because I've had students come from home investors, all these other masterminds.
Yeah, so that's actually a great way of, a great analogy, that you're the franchise and you're teaching people exactly what you do that's made you successful, to franchise them to be successful wholesalers and investors. So that is putting it very simple, keeping it simple, isn't it? Is I'm going to teach you, I'm going to connect the dots and make sure that you follow exactly the same system that I follow. Just like McDonald's, you go to a McDonald's in Istanbul and the coffee tastes the same, the hamburgers taste the same, anywhere around the world. So what you're doing is you're going to say, if you follow this system, you will have success, because I've had success with this system. I'm going to teach you stuff that other people aren't teaching on top of that. And this is great stuff, CC, because, like, people are going to be confident that they're going to come out the other side of it, and they're going to have skills that it's not a generic skill that from 3 years ago that,
And they're going to specifically know too, Graham, what their purpose is, not just in business plan life. I'll be honest, man. I bring people in. It's like the nectar is real estate, but really my ulterior motive is going deep and understanding the person's personality and then giving them a little bit of direction in their life. I'm really good at that. So I found that, when we have issues in our company, sometimes those issues manifest and we may not even realize it, projecting on our employees, right? Guys, I'm going to be honest. I remember a couple of days, my business partner and I, we would come in the office and we would just chew out our team. Guys, that's the wrong thing to do, man. No. But a lot of that stems from just not knowing what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to be doing as a business owner, because I get asked all the time, well, if all this stuff is outsourced, what do I do? You manage, delegate, and cheerlead. You cheerlead your team, right? And you're always recruiting and hiring.
Yeah, that's a great point. That positive reinforcement, that empowering of people rather than hitting them with a stick, you're empowering them. Because if, you think about it yourself, if you come into an organization, you walk in for the day and the vibe's up and someone's empowering you and cheerleading, you're going to enjoy your day and you're going to get the most out of yourself. So, that's awesome. I think we sort of, we went through the 80s and we had the Gordon Geckos, greed is good. And then we sort of got out of that. We had a bit of a renaissance in that. But then, I don't know, maybe because the economy in real estate for 10 years has been really good, a bit of that's crept back, hasn't it? So what's happening now is this movement's coming to keep it real, be authentic, find out what you're good at. Like you say, CC, if you're good at overseeing and managing people, it's just putting the right bums in the right seats, isn't it? And then just get those people to perform at their peak by empowering them. So that's something else it sounds like you're going to teach. So, look, where do I sign up, mate? Where do I sign up? I'm ready to go.
Hey, I'll make a note there, but I zone in on hiring. That's my favorite thing. Hiring will set you free, making the right hire. I'm telling you, and to be honest, it's mutually beneficial. There's people out here, for instance, my executive assistant, I found her on onlinejobs.ph. She said in her resume, or in her cover letter, her dream since she was a young girl was to be an office assistant. Guys, things that we may not like doing, somebody else loves. And my purpose in this life going forward and in this business is to really dig down and help people find specifically what they're supposed to be doing. Not just like, hey, real estate this time there. That's surface level. Let's go deeper. Let's actually figure out what makes you tick. Let's figure out your blind spots, right? Let's figure out why your team members keep on having some friction with you. Is it because you guys have conflicting personality types? Guys, I worked through all this. I went in one of my clients' companies in January, fired everybody on her behalf, started over, start from ground zero. We went through 5 or 6 employees until we found one that fit her. Guys, this is what we do. It's dirty, it's gritty, it's messy. We're in the mud together, guys, but we're going to come out great on the other side.
Yeah, well, it sounds like while you're down there, you might have gone to a Buddhist colony at one stage because you've found your Zen again and the spark. I mean, you're pumped up. I can see it in you. And this is what you're saying is if 2.0 CC can feel like this, you want to get your students to be empowered and feel the same way when they come in. And part of that too is like you just said it. You hit it right on the head there, CC. You said, look, everyone's got a superpower. Everyone's got something that they're good at. And you've got to double down on those and make sure that you're really good at it. If you're a really good acquisitions people, there's no point you being in data entry or something that you hate doing. So that's really important. And also connecting a group of the right people together. So you've got, people that are good at different things. And like you said, some ways to be organised, to run the office, to be the central nerve of them, and they get up every morning wanting to do that. You team them up with someone that is really good at acquisitions, and you team them up with someone that's really good at dispositions, and you team them up with a marketing. This is what you're saying is through trial and error how to build a team. So
exactly.
Yeah. So sorry, I was going to say. So I just want to, I just said you've sort of, you've obviously had a renaissance period where you've sort of reconnected and gone, right, this is my vision now. I've got a vision. This is my why. You talk about the psychological stuff, with the tests and all that. Did you do that in your business? Did you start implementing that in your business because you were having people butting heads? Did you say, I need to find a solution to this?
Well, Graham, it was more like I had a great employee with Rocket Station for almost 2 years, Maureen. Love her to death. I said, man, I hit the jackpot. Graham, I've gone through hundreds of VAs, not just cold callers, people that I've actually trained and brought in from executive assistants and all this stuff. So I was like, there has to be a pattern here, right? I was like, I didn't want to let her go because I was like, she was so unique and special, but I was like, what about her? And so I remember I had her take a 16 personalities test, and this is why I started doing with my team mid last year. And she was, I'll just give it to you guys, an ISTJ. This is a nugget. This is the perfect fit for any operations manager, hands down. And guys, one thing too, why am I going to have an introvert, with an MBTI personality type like an ISTJ or INFJ, dial like cold call, right? And then Jay, she's amazing at the office part, not even the office. She's a strategic. She's like my COO, and she's a Filipino. Guys, what I'm saying here is we want to ensure that we're finding people that are the exact fit, not a good hire, a great hire. And once we have those people, we need to train them. And this is where another piece where investors mix up on, actually the training part. And if you have somebody who doesn't have a good, receptive personality type, like they don't have a lot of what I call strategic thinking things in their top 10, nothing wrong with that. They're not a good fit. So I'm doing all these personality profiles because, guys, my time is not replicable. And I spend a lot of time, 2-3 months, nurturing my lead managers for my clients. And the worst thing I want to do is get 2 months in and then that person leave and it just goes all the way away. So that's really why I started doing that, just to give myself some security. And it turns out I'm at like a 98, 99% hit rate since I've started doing this and profiling people using Clifton Strength Finders and MBTI, 16personalities.com, to figure out if they're a good fit for that seat. Yeah. Having a high success rate with it.
Yeah. Man, it sounds like that break was good. You've got your man with a plan. You've just covered a broad vision of how everything should look. Like you said, you're also really good at training people, and I think it's a detail. You're detail orientated. You like to break things down and see how they work and what works better here and there. So if someone, I mean, anyone that's watching or listening to this that's in your Facebook group would already know this. I'm encouraging people to jump in your Facebook group, Wholesaling Houses Future Alliance. You keep it pretty intimate. You like to, I mean, I know myself, you make a comment, CC follows up and thanks you for making the comment or gives you advice. It's a really intimate thing. And you can just hear, guys, by spending, 40 minutes with CC, how there's nothing left to chance. So go in there, join his group, and ask questions. Make some posts, because CC will then cater some content for you. For what people are asking for. That's the way he operates. That's what people are asking for. He wants to help. He's just got a servant mentality, and he always has had. He's ex-military. He is, got that. I just want to serve, and I want to do, empower people. So jump into Wholesaling Houses Future Alliance. Great group. I love it. And what I love about it, CC, is every now and then you go, right, I'm culling. If you're not active, get out. You know what I mean? You want interactive people, and you want people to come in and give as much as they take out of the group. And that is, I love groups like that, where people give and then they take, and it's a reciprocal thing. So go to Wholesaling Houses Future Alliance. Now, I've got on the screen here, you're going to work with 10 people. You've got your SCAR program, which is the 2.0 version of yourself, and you've tweaked it since you've had some time off. You're going to work with only 10 people. So the first 10 people that see this before he gets on another podcast and word gets out that CC's got a new training out, go to hwtp www.ccgarlandmarketing.com/scale. Click on that link. It'll take you to the promised land. It'll take you to be one of the 10 people. As soon as there's 10 people, CC's probably going to lock the doors, and that's him, because he only wants to work and give value to a small group at the moment. So if you're interested, if you want to learn all these things that we've talked about during the podcast today, learn the things that are going to make the difference between you and the other 1,000 guys out there in your market, or 10,000 guys, go and do yourself a favor, hit that link. I can only do a personal testimony to CC. I'm a better person from knowing him, and everything he's always done for me, he's done like the systems that I was talking about before. Everything's just done like millimeter perfect. So if you're looking to go to the next level, I mean, I don't know, will you take new students that are fairly new, or you want people that are where you at with that?
Yeah, I need people that have done deals, and they're just at the point where they're trying to systematize. I'm not saying 3 years in, but I've noticed a lot of investors start waking up and realizing, just because I'm closing deals doesn't mean I have a business, right? So I found a lot of people at that point are really gravitating to the program. And actually, a guy came in, he hired another mentor in Vegas that showed him how to close a deal. And he's only a month into real estate. He closed a deal, made like 20 bands, and then he joined my program. Something like that, I don't mind, but you do have to have the basics knowledge, because I don't teach how to get deals. You can find my book at South Marketing Academy and all that stuff. Right? Yeah.
So hit that link, go to the Facebook group. The last thing I want to ask you before I say goodbye, I appreciate your time. We've gone a bit over time, but I appreciate it, because the 2.0 version, he was super pumped up, ready to go and hit the streets. So the last thing I wanted to ask you is the importance of networking and having like-minded people around, like in your Facebook group. And do you think that's big too? Like, if you come and do something like that, keep in contact with the people from a course, keep in contact with CC, network with people who are on the same journey as you are. So do you think that's important as well? I ask this question to most next level people. What do you think, CC?
Graham, you hit absolutely. I think that's very important, and that's why I'm curating here, right? So with this group of investors, they're already collaborating everything, and so I'm trying to build my own tribe. I'm really figuring out who resonates with my messaging and who I like working with. Not everybody. I don't like working with everybody. Just being honest, that's what it is. So, but building. If people gravitate towards me, most of the people in my community are pretty laid back. So, what I'm saying? We're getting money, we're doing the thing, but we're building lifestyle businesses. So that's important. And as a really to drive that point home, with my third group, Rashad and Derek Blaze, shout out to you guys. Rashad is in Charleston, Derek's in Wichita, and so Rashad was trying to figure out a virtual market to go to, and then Derek was on the call. And he was like, he has like 80 rentals. Sharp guy. He's 30 years old, 31 years old. But he was like, Rashad, just go to Wichita and buy your deals. And Derek's going through the program himself to learn how to virtually wholesale or virtually or pick up rentals in Cleveland, a virtual market. So he's like, I got Rashad to get me deals in Wichita, and I can focus my marketing efforts, what CC's teaching me in Cleveland. It's so cool. It's so cool, man. And that stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah. No, awesome. Thanks for coming on and drilling down a bit further. It's just always a pleasure to have you in the Thunderdome because you just give so much value, CC. Yeah. And I mean, if anyone goes back and watches that, they could almost structure a business from what you've said today because you've gone through all the key pillars and filled in the gaps in between. Obviously, we've only got so much time. If someone wants to scale and someone wants to work with a person that's got integrity but has got the smarts and can drill down and has got some stuff that other people aren't teaching, go to that link in there for the Scale program and go and join his Facebook group. CC, we'll have to knock it off there. Thanks, mate. I'm glad you had a break. I'm glad you recharged. You've come back bloody 10 times more powerful than where you left off, which was pretty good anyway. Yeah. I wish you luck. I wish people luck to try and be the first 10 people into your program because, like I said, usually it's like, the first 100, but now you're going to work intimately with 10 people. So congratulations in advance to those people. Hopefully you get in early and you get to work with CC because he's fully recharged from his break and he's ready to rock and roll. So, all right, CC, thanks for coming in, mate. Man. And as per usual, because of CC Garland, you guys have been thunderstruck.